You've seen it happen. A crypto protocol boasts explosive growth, millions of active users, and massive hype. You buy the token, wait for the inevitable surge, and watch your portfolio bleed out. To figure out why a successful project can still ruin your portfolio, we need to look at the structural mechanics operating beneath the surface. On the left, metrics like total value locked go straight up, but on the right, the token price actively crashes. This is the exit liquidity trap. While retail buyers watch rising user counts, insiders cash out, dumping a massive supply and crushing the price. We can avoid this entirely by stripping away the marketing hype. We are going to apply a strict 3-step institutional filtering system to scan the market for fatal tokenomic flaws. The goal is to filter out useless speculative governance tokens, assets that give you zero economic rights, and isolate mathematical commodities that actually capture real network value. If you evaluate crypto assets based purely on a compelling narrative instead of their structural reality, you are guaranteed to be the exit liquidity for someone else. Our first filter is the absorption test. This simply asks, does a protocol make enough real money to offset the tokens it prints to sustain itself? Divide annualized revenue by token unlocks over 12 months. To pass, the ratio must be 1.0 or higher. But networks like Cardano generate negligible revenue while continuously printing tokens. The math drags the ratio well below our threshold, making it highly net dilutive. That persistent inflation acts as a hidden structural tax on your holdings. Even if the network maintains a passionate user base, your slice of the pie is constantly shrinking. We solve this by looking for high absorption assets. Networks like Ethereum and Solana actually pass this test with room to spare. The organic demand for block space on these networks generates so much real cash flow that they can actively burn transaction fees. They routinely remove more supply from circulation than they print. Now, the trade-off here is straightforward. Holding mega-cap assets like Ethereum provides mathematical soundness and long-term stability, but you forfeit the chance at an overnight 100x return that a highly speculative microcap might offer. But without high absorption, any token is just a slow-bleeding tax on your portfolio, no matter how loud the community gets online. Our second filter evaluates the supply overhang. This is how we spot the danger of heavily funded projects that launch with a tiny percentage of their tokens actually circulating. This chart for Ondo Finance shows a perfect example. Ondo has billions in total value locked and massive rail revenue. But look at the circulating supply line. It stays flat until January 2027, where scheduled unlock injects a massive spike of tokens. That localized supply shock releases hundreds of millions in a single day. No retail buying can absorb that wall, so the price collapses. To protect your capital, you have to prioritize assets with fully diluted floats, fair launches, and absolutely no looming venture capital overhangs. Take Centrifuge. It operates in the same real-world asset sector, bridging traditional finance on-chain, but it boasts an 80% circulating supply, where the early venture tokens are already fully unlocked. Arweave is another clear winner here. Because it launched with a zero venture capital premine, there's no insider overhang. Enterprise demand for permanent storage translates directly to network scarcity. By avoiding these VC traps, you are likely sitting out the heavily marketed short-term artificial hype cycles funded by those exact same venture firms. But world-class technology and high revenue are entirely useless to you if an impending supply shock is mathematically guaranteed to wipe out your equity. The final filter is the institutional kill switch. We need to identify existential counterparty risks, hidden centralized controls, and severe regulatory threats. You have to look for assets controlled by God mode administrative keys or extreme wallet concentration. If a founding team has the unilateral ability to double the token supply or freeze user funds, you do not own a decentralized asset. We see this with tokens like Mantra or Blockstreet, where administrative overrides and severe insider control have historically led to coordinated dumps that instantly destroy the asset scarcity model. External kill switches are just as dangerous. Severe regulatory scrutiny from sovereign jurisdictions, like the active bans targeting WorldCoin's biometric data harvesting, places a hard ceiling on an asset's global adoption and revenue potential. Even legacy assets like Ripple fail this check. Between a highly centralized validator set and a corporate entity dictating monthly escrow releases onto the market, you are relying entirely on corporate stability rather than cryptographic trust. Any asset with an administrative kill switch or catastrophic insider concentration is just existential counterparty risk disguised as decentralized finance. Let's pull this all together. By running the market through these 3 filters, we can map our specific assets into 3 definitive portfolio buckets based on your risk profile. This flowchart outlines our first bucket, core holdings, for fundamental accumulators seeking long-term stability. Assets like Arweave and Centrifuge belong here. They operate as true yield-bearing equity, passing the absorption test with flying colors and maintaining completely clean, fully diluted floats. Next, we have tactical swings. This bucket is for speculative investors willing to actively trade narrative momentum. Tokens like Meteora and Pyth Network fit this profile. They generate massive revenue and hold incredible market monopolies. But notice the warning label. The strict caveat for tactical swings is that you must rigorously execute your exit strategy long before their massive scheduled venture capital unlock cliffs hit the market. Finally, we have the hard avoids. You need to entirely eliminate tokens like Cardano, WorldCoin, and XRP from your portfolio. They fail the absorption test and operate as purely speculative, dilutive governance assets. True crypto alpha is never found by chasing a viral social media narrative. It is secured by ruthlessly eliminating mathematically flawed tokens until only real yield-bearing assets remain.